Yes, we almost dropped it on ourselves. Day 1. It arrived. One delivery. Everything we needed to build an entire house. Timber, insulation, membranes, panels, all of it, on one truck. We had spent months sourcing every single component, getting the specs right, making sure nothing was missing. This one delivery was the result of all that work.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never say.
Traditional concrete foundations take days to pour and weeks to cure. Ours took 1 day. 36 screw piles, one for every square meter of floor space, each one drilled by hand into the ground, then leveled to within millimeters. The entire foundation of this house done before sunset.
As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away. Cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place.
Piles done. Next, the pipes. And this is the step you absolutely cannot get wrong. First, assemble everything above ground. Test every joint, find every mistake before it's buried forever.
I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs.
Then the tractor came. One machine did in an hour what would take 2 people 2 days. Pipes in deep, frost can't reach them down there, water to pack the soil, tractor fills it back. Done. You'd never know anything was there.
That I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.
Next, we compacted the soil with water. And this step is more important than it looks. When you dig up soil and put it back, it's loose, full of air pockets. Over time, those pockets collapse and the ground settles unevenly. That movement can stress your pipes, shift your connections, cause leaks. So before the tractor pushed the soil back, we flooded it. Water forces the air out. The soil particles pack tightly together. What you end up with is ground that is almost as dense as it was before you ever touched it. It took maybe 20 minutes, and it's the difference between pipes that last decades and pipes that give you problems in year 3. Next, we laid in the incoming water pipe. Same principle as the waste pipes, but this one has an extra requirement that is absolutely non-negotiable in cold climates. Depth. We buried it well below the frost line. In a climate like this, the ground freezes deep every winter. Any pipe that doesn't go deep enough will freeze, crack, and fail, usually at the worst possible time. Once the pipe was in position, we flooded the trench again. Same water compaction method. Soil packed tight around it. Protected from movement, protected from frost. This pipe will never see a problem. And that was day 2 done. Day 1, we put 36 screw piles in the ground. Day 2, we leveled every single one of them and laid all the underground pipes in about 3 hours. Everything underground, everything tested, everything buried. In 2 days, just the 3 of us, we had a foundation system that contractors would charge a small fortune for. But honestly, day 3 was what we were really looking forward to. because that's the day we planned to build the entire base of the house. And we had no idea how that was going to go.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
Day 3 didn't exactly greet us with sunshine. It was raining and cold. And honestly, not the kind of morning that makes you want to go outside and build. But we had prepared the entire timber frame plan beforehand. Every piece, every measurement, every cut mapped out. So we had no excuses. We got out there, and within minutes of starting, we completely forgot about the rain. With the outer frame built from 2x6 structural beams, it was time for the most nerve-wracking measurement of the entire base. The diagonals, corner to corner, both ways. If those two numbers don't match, your base isn't square. And a base that isn't square is a problem that follows you all the way to the roof. We measured once, measured again, both diagonals, identical. Honestly, we were relieved. With a perfect square, confirmed we started laying the internal floor joists. And this is one of those details that looks simple, but makes a massive difference. We spaced every joist to match the exact size of our insulation sheets. That means when insulation time comes, every sheet drops straight in. No cutting, no gaps, no material waste. 20 minutes of planning in advance saved us hours of work on the day. That's the kind of thinking that keeps a 3-week build actually on schedule.
As you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Two things needed to go on the underside of the frame before it went up: a diffusion membrane for moisture control and a metal rodent mesh, because no one wants to find out the hard way that something has moved in underneath their floor. But flipping a 430 square foot frame with 2 people? Not happening. So we split it into 3 sections, each one manageable.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. I guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away. I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray.
We attached the membrane and rodent mesh using staples, just enough to hold everything in place until we could lock it down permanently with pressure-treated battens. But the membrane itself deserves a mention. This isn't just any plastic sheet. It's a breathable moisture barrier, and that distinction matters. It lets moisture vapor pass through and escape outward, while blocking any liquid water from getting in. Think of it like a Gore-Tex jacket for your floor. Moisture that builds up inside your insulation needs somewhere to go. Without a breathable membrane, it gets trapped, builds up, and eventually destroys your insulation from the inside. This one layer protects everything above it for the lifetime of the house.
Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be
First
brought
section
into the
complete.
place.
Honestly, it felt good to see it done. 2 more sections to go. And knowing exactly what we were doing now made each one faster than the last. That's the thing about a well-planned build. Every repeat task gets smoother.
Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
3 sections done. Time to flip them. Sounds straightforward. It wasn't. Each section was 20 feet long. Imagine flipping a 2-story house on its side. Each one had to come off, flip over, and land back in exactly the right spot. 2 people, no machinery, no room for mistakes. What followed was one of those moments that looks a lot easier on paper than it does in real life.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. I guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away. I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray. I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Right when we needed to lift up the panels, the wind hit. Suddenly, a 20-foot floor panel becomes something else entirely. It becomes a sail that weighs hundreds of pounds with 2 people holding the ends of it. The camera blew over. Every single focus we had was on that panel. One gust at the wrong moment, and this build story ends very differently.
Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay? Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today.
The original plan wasn't going to work. Not in that wind, not with that size panel. We had to stop, step back, and think. And when you're standing in the wind holding a 20-foot sail, thinking fast is not optional. We came up with a new approach. Instead of flipping it directly, we rotated each section a full 360 degrees, then turned it through the shortest side. More moves, more steps, more effort, but infinitely safer. Sometimes the smart solution isn't the obvious one. Sometimes you have to swallow your pride, scrap the plan, and find a better way. That decision may have saved us from a very serious accident. With all three sections flipped and back in position, it was time for insulation. But here's the thing about insulation wool. Once it gets wet, it is done. Ruined. You cannot dry it out and reuse it. You throw it away and start over. And we knew the next day was looking rainy, so we had no choice. We had to start and we had to finish that same day. No stopping, no leaving it overnight, no second chances. The clock was running. We opened the first roll and got to work. And honestly, this part surprised us. No special skills, no experience needed. Every piece cut to size, dropped into place, snug fit every time. If you can measure and cut, you can do this. So we did.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, 'cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals.
Once the vapor barrier was across the top of the insulation, we could finally make it all permanent. Battens screwed down across the entire frame. And these battens are doing two things at once, holding that membrane exactly where it needs to be, and creating a small but critical air gap beneath the floor. We learned early on that wood ventilation is not optional. Trap moisture under a floor and it will find a way to cause problems. That air gap makes sure it never gets the chance.
But I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what.
By the end of day 3, we were exhausted. Rain, wind, panels that wanted to take us out, but we got it done. Insulation in, vapor barrier down, battens locked, floor base complete and fully protected. We looked at what we had built, and honestly, it felt incredible. Day 4 arrived sunny and dry. Exactly what we needed. Finish the floor beams, get the first row of walls up. For the first time, we were going to see actual walls, actual dimensions, something that looked like the house we had been imagining for months. We grabbed our coffee, looked at each other, and got to work. What happened next? We did not see coming. A couple of hours later, and the first row of walls was in place. Every measurement spot on. Every wall perfectly straight. We looked at each other and just smiled. 3.5 days earlier, this was an empty field. Now we had a complete foundation, all underground plumbing sorted, a fully insulated floor base, finished floor beams, and the first row of walls standing. Just the 3 of us. We couldn't believe how far we had come. But the best part is coming. Next video, the walls go up. The house starts looking like a real home. And trust us, a few things happen that we absolutely did not plan for. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. It genuinely helps us keep making these videos. And we already have another build in mind that we think you are going to love. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.